According to a new report out this week, the suicide rate of veterans age 18 to 34 steadily increased from 2006 to 2016, with a jump of more than 10% from 2015 to 2016. That translates into 45 deaths per 100,000 veterans, the highest of any age group. VA officials say they've made great strides in crisis intervention, but members of the House Veterans Affairs Committee said that's not good enough.
But the veteran is not a number. The veteran is someone who's fallen through the cracks regardless of the good intentions.
If we lose one veteran, it is far too many. The need to work together, identify root causes, and figure out a constructive, holistic way to turn the tide on veteran suicide epidemic.
Witnesses testified that much more needs to be done.
We need a broader, multi-pronged approach to prevention and treatment, a combination of clinical, non-clinical, and peer-to-peer community-focused efforts. Suicide prevention can't just be about saving someone's life when they're in crisis. It must be about creating a life that's worth living.
Here in Virginia, the issue of veteran suicide hits home. In 2014, the most recent year for which those statistics are available, 227 veterans committed suicide in this state. 214 were men, 13 were women. The VA has a toll-free confidential Veterans Crisis Hotline. It's 1-800-273-8255. Hit 1. Mike Gooding, 13 News Now.